Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your presence. It's a pleasure to have you here. My name is Mafalda Santos. I'm country manager of e-commerce news Portugal, a specialized magazine in e-commerce. Today, we brought you a special webinar with Zendesk and Dott, two special guests, to explain you how to implement a fast and successful omnichannel service to your clients. They will also talk about this important moment that we are living right now with this COVID-19 crisis, and they will explain also the importance of an omnichannel service. Thank you so much for your presence. So during our presentation, you can ask all the questions. At the end, both of them will answer them. And now presenting Paulo Ribeirinho from Dott. We also have John Neves from Zendesk. Thank you both so much for your presence here today. It's a pleasure to have you with us. John, I will pass it to you right now.
Thank you, Mafalda. Thank you very much. And thank you, Paulo, for joining us today as well. So as Mafalda said, my name is John. I'm just going to pull out some slides right now so you guys can see a little bit about what we do and who we are. So as Mafalda said, my name is John. I work for Zendesk. I'm a senior account executive. I look after Portugal as a country. And today I invited Paulo Ribeirinho from Dott to have a small conversation with us about how they handle the entire customer support success during this very special situation that's the COVID-19. And we will do that in a second. But before that, for the ones that don't know who Zendesk is, I'm going to make a small introduction of who Zendesk is, and then we'll pass on to the questions with Paulo. So Zendesk is a company that's actually based in San Francisco, with headquarters in San Francisco. We have over 4,000 employees globally, and we have over 130,000 paid customers worldwide. We have 16 global offices. Some of them, the closest ones to you will be Dublin, will be London, and Paris, and Madrid. We are a company that have been growing exponential as well. And one of the main things that we offer in this company is actually the software to help you improve your customer support. And that's where I'm going to bring it now. So actually 81% of your clients will change to a new brand after a bad experience with you in your customer support team. So actually customers are the foundation of any business, and they are one of the most important elements to bring the success of your company. So don't underestimate the importance of providing a positive customer experience. And we'll see through the presentation today how that reflects as well in the business. What does Zendesk offer itself? So we provide you a platform that allows you to provide a personalized service for customers wherever they expect it. So we actually offer an omnichannel solution because we believe the customer should make the choice of to reach to you the way they want, where they want, in the moment they want. So with this platform, you can customize, extend, and integrate your support across different channels, scale your customer experience flow, and measure and improve your operations, because the reporting part and the metrics is what's going to allow you actually to make the improvements you need to take the step forward. This was a very brief presentation about Zendesk. If you have any questions for us, as Mafalda said, you can send them through chat. We'll reply to them over the Q&A in the end of this presentation. I'm now going to ask Paulo to tell us a little bit more about the company.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you, Mafalda, for having me, and for giving me the chance to introduce Dott here and work again with John. So my name is Paulo, and I'm responsible for the operational, finance, and HR bit at Dott. Dott is a general merchandise marketplace with 17 categories ranging from car accessories to baby food. Our mission is to give Portuguese customers the products they are used to buying in a reliable, no-frills kind of way. And we don't leave sellers out of this equation. So one of our other goals is to give our local Portuguese sellers, and not just Portuguese, a key in-hand experience, which means we take care of everything from distribution to invoicing.
Thank you. I'm going to take the slides now a little bit so we can have more of a conversation. Paulo, tell me, what were the biggest challenges you faced as a business during this moment?
Yeah, so this was an incredibly challenging moment for e-commerce in general, and in Dott in particular. It was a game-changing moment. So we had to keep up with an ever-increasing order volume, which was already increasing about 30% a week, and suddenly we had huge spikes of 1,000% in a day. And this had a direct impact in our customer care center, because, well, as you know, order volume with order volume increase, there's a linear increase in contact rates. This means we had a lot more contacts with this increasing order inflow. We also opened up a lot of new categories that were not so familiar to us, and that, well, Portuguese customers and I imagine anyone that was in a quarantine wanted to buy, such as groceries, alcoholic beverages, and these categories have very specific operational challenges we had to cope with. And I would say that the other challenges is, so this quarantine COVID-19 moment really opened up e-commerce to a whole new slice of the population that wasn't used to buying online. So there's the education in bit that's so important. So you have all these customers that they're not used to buying online, so they have questions with, how do I use my voucher? Where do I put my voucher? When is it arriving? They have a fear of returns and refunds. They have problems with payment methods and all that. So it was a very challenging moment.
And how did you adapt to the situation? How did you manage to so fast making the changes?
Yeah, so well, first of all, there was immediately this big impact, which was, okay, everybody has to go home. Okay, this wasn't a big challenge for us, because we're already 100% digital, and we're used to doing Google Meetups and Zooms and whatever all the time. So we just asked people to take their work tools, so their computers and their side screens, so they can keep their productivity high and go home. You know? We also had a very interesting challenge, which was to hire and onboard people 100% remotely, which is a huge challenge, because well, you have to get to know these people, interview them, but there's no personal touch, right? And then you have to onboard them remotely. And for our customers, I would say that the biggest challenge was how we could adapt our business to their needs. Yeah? And I think this goes hand to hand with all these new categories that we brought, such as groceries, alcoholic beverages, first necessity goods, if you can I'll summarize those categories.
And we, just a bit before, we talked a little bit about omnichannel, and I actually wanted to ask, what's your preferred channel and what does it bring to your company?
Well, to be perfectly honest, my preferred channel is email. It's not that I'm an old school kind of person, but well, I think it's just like the way that you use email, you use Slack, or you use Yammer or Facebook at work. All these channels, I think they have very specific customers, if you could say that. Yeah? You don't you don't do a generalized company communication through email, because nobody's going to read it, right? You're better off doing it in a place like Slack or Facebook at work or something like that. And I would say in doing customer service, it's the same thing. If you're using chat that we have, or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, which is they're all live real-time chats or quasi real-time. in a model like ours, it's difficult to solve a problem where you have third parties to contact to get something done. So I would say email is for me the best way to get something done in a customer service kind of fashion. But of course, there's situations where a call or chat might solve your problem, because you want to know how do I use this payment method? How long does it take? How do I use this voucher?
So it depends very much on the case to case of what the query from the customer is. And why did you decide to use an omni-channel approach and offer different channels actually?
Yeah, that's exactly, it goes a bit into what I was saying. I think different problems have different approaches, but well, different customers want to contact you through different sorts of channels. For example, younger people would rather WhatsApp you or send you something over chat while they're using the website than call you. So we need channels, because we want what the younger people now will also be the customers of the future, right? But then you have people who have more money to spend with you, which are the older people basically, and this part of the population doesn't want to chat with you, doesn't want to WhatsApp you. They want to know there's someone real on the other side of the line, and they want to call you and hear a voice. So and there's all that education bit that needs to be done from our side.
And that's why this situation actually brought a new demographic as well to the businesses, that people didn't have other solutions, right, that not start buying online. But how did you manage the implementation of Zendesk and the evolution of the platform on your own as well?
Yeah, so this wasn't my first time working with Zendesk. Well, I had already scaled a customer service team to well, almost 200 people from almost scratch, and that took, well, using Zendesk also from scratch. So I thought it was the ideal platform to use in a very autonomous way, and that works well with 200 people, or it works with the 10 people we have working with us right now. It's very easy to use. It can help you integrate channels in a very easy way. It can help you automate a lot of processes. It can be used as a register tool for certain types of problems that occur. It has an excellent data management platform that enables you to have real live access to your agent's performance and sort of problems that are occurring. And of course, it can get incredibly complex and complicated. And that's when you start bringing, people who are not just managers like me, and that actually know how to program and to build on Zendesk. And that's what we're doing as well.
Being hands-on. Other question, we are talking about the platform, but how is your customer support team organized today?
Yeah, so we have 9 agents at the time, at this moment, and 1 supervisor. And we hired 4 agents just in the last month, all, as I said, remotely and onboarded through online tools. So our main channels is chat, social, and emails, and we just reactivated our talk channel this week. And we had to, because of order flow, we couldn't give a good experience to our customers during the COVID-19 phase. We also use the knowledge base to build our FAQs for customers, prospective sellers, and registered sellers, which we call Seller University, where we put videos, we help with the onboarding, we answer their questions, and the same thing for customers. And we use some third-party tools as well. So we use a very, very powerful tool called Cleverly that enables us to automatically categorize incoming incoming tickets. Well, let's not call them tickets. Is a very it's not good for the general public. Emails, contacts, or whatever you want to call them. But it learns from your platform and categorizes the incoming problems on when they arrive, and that enables you to distribute the work in a very efficient way. And if it's a problem with a damaged order, it cannot go to one of these 4 agents that we hired last month, because if they, when that ticket arrives to them, they will be very clueless about what to do. But if it's a ticket about how do I buy on Dott, then it definitely can go to one of these 4 agents, and it's very easy to solve because, well, we have a very good standardized reply that helps 99% of people that ask this question. If it's a problem with a refund, it's quite sensitive. So we'd rather segment it and give it to someone that knows how to solve it. So we organized all our incoming queues through this way. Another very powerful tool that we use is Zapier, which enables us to basically connect third-party apps and trigger actions on the Zendesk platform. So basically stuff that our tech team can't, well, it's on their roadmap, but hasn't been implemented yet, where it helps us in a no-code kind of approach to implement it with Zapier and Zendesk.
So these actually answer my next question that was about how much customization you did in your tool, and you just basically explaining that you brought other tools that were relevant for you and you very easily integrate them within Zendesk.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We go to the next question. Actually, I just wanted to mention that I had a screenshot here from your help center, and I know the importance of customers being able to self-service as well with more simple queries that they have, and this is available for them in Dott website.
Yeah, we continuously build on this functionality, so we can self-service is very, very important for us. So we even link many of the questions that are on the FAQ on the Zendesk knowledge base to our messenger bot, so customers can access this information in a tree kind of approach through the Facebook Messenger.
And which features within Zendesk you find the most useful?
Well, I would say but then I'm very, very passionate about automation and how to map out a process. So the triggers functionality is very useful for us because it almost enables us to automate certain types of behaviors that we would like to have as a team in a very consistent way. For example, if we're waiting for we have a pending ticket with a customer and he hasn't replied back to us, I want my team to follow up on this, right?
Yeah.
So, but this is something that they should do no matter what. It should be printed in their minds, right? But this is something that can be automated in a very nice way with a very nice message, and just reminding the customer that we're here to help them, and we're waiting for his reply. Yeah.
Absolutely. I actually have on the screen one of our features, that's the macros. I can see it's not interactive here, but I can show the interactive version because I think it's an interesting tool when we speak about automations as well.
I would say just to build a bit more on the features that are also useful for us. It's well, and I said it before, but the guide is incredibly useful for us. I think we have a very comprehensive and very, very detailed Zendesk guide that's a part of the Dott website. So we did not build anything customized or spent any time from our developers in building the customer FAQs and seller FAQs. And Well, we want to have this flexibility. If a question changes, we don't want to put a ticket on our developer's backlog to change the answer. We want to be able to do it real time. If we want to change working hours or change our SLA, we want to do it on the spot, and the guide is very useful in that sense.
That's great. Another question that we were going to ask you is, I know you are very much a data-driven person, and you like to look at KPIs and dashboards. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're using Zendesk Explore, so the reporting tool from Zendesk, and which KPIs normally you look at and dashboards are more relevant for you?
Sure. So, what's difficult to it's difficult not to speak of customer experience and customer care without talking about agent productivity. I think it's very linked to customer satisfaction, because when you're able to know how many tickets you can, or many problems you can solve in a specific amount of time, well, you can calculate how many people you need to comply with your customers' needs, right? And because if you can't comply with them, like it happened to us in this peak, they will be unhappy. So knowing how much you can do, I think, is incredibly important. And we use Explore to track that on a daily basis. It's something I look at with the supervisor of the team. The other one is backlog control, because as we saw it in these past 2 months, it can get out of hand. So that's something that needs to be kept on a very tight leash. The other metric we track is our SLA. So if we write something on our guide and we say we're going to do it that way, we need to do it. And so we need to know when we're not doing it, so we can adapt. And then satisfaction control. So all these are metrics that our agents are incentivized on, and it's part of their yearly evaluation. Okay, and it's discussed on a monthly basis with them. We also use the Zendesk API to integrate with our own data management platform, but then we use that information to match it with our ERP, with our order management system, and that gives us details like what this specific seller, what is his contact rate? Yeah, how many tickets do these sellers order give us, so we can work with him and say, look, your orders have more problems than normal, so let's drill down and understand why this is happening. So this is very important for us.
Great. I think that's a very, very good point as well. Why is customer experience so important for your company?
Well, I think it's an indicator of future performance. So this is a cliche, right? I think everybody knows this today, that it's not just a price game. It's a customer satisfaction game. So I believe we will only survive in this game if our customers are truly happy with us, and they will come back to shop. Right? So, for example, Net Promoter Score, which by itself it means nothing, right? It's just a number, but we track its evolution continuously, so we understand if we're on an upward trend, and we're improving every day, and where our customers are happier and happier, or we're messing up and they're not happy with us, and then we need to drill down and understand. And this is already something we do on a regular basis. Every detractor, like someone that gives us a score of 0 to 6, we call them to understand why if they want to tell us why they gave us that score, and what can we do to improve. I think Also, having multiple channels is, and I'm coming back to something I said before, is very important to giving a good customer experience, because customers, it really depends on where they are, right? If they're in a crowded place in a queue waiting for something, they're not gonna wait or talk on the phone and explain a personal problem with their order. Yeah, but you might be able to fix something if they can WhatsApp you, or they can send you a chat through Messenger or an email, right? So I think having multiple channels that are convenient in different stages of an order, or different stages of situations where a customer is, or different customers, is essential to good customer satisfaction.
That's great. And we talked in the beginning of the show the importance of keeping your brand, your good name, how that attracts people and keeps your customers loyal to you as well. How do you think you're using your customer experience in general different from your competitors to actually stand out?
I think, well, offering omnichannel and multi-channel experience is something that we do quite differently, and I think we have a friendlier tone than our customers, a bit of a younger tone, and we're quite informal and try to fix any sort of issues in a very proactive way. I think we work a lot more on the self-service part and giving autonomy to customers to fix their own issues, because there's also those customers, and that's is a big part, which is people who don't want to talk to you, people who don't want to message you. They don't want to email you. They want to be able to press a button and the guy shows up to pick up your order and return it, right? They don't want to ask someone to do that. Good customer service is no customer service, right? When it comes to issues, right? That's what you want to have. So I think we really differentiate from our competitors in that sense, because we're starting from scratch in 2019, right? We started May 2019, right? So we're very young, and we built our technology from scratch, our processes from scratch. We have no legacy. We don't have to keep up with outdated processes. Maybe in 10 years we'll talk in a different way, but not right now. And that's a big differentiator.
I think that's a big differentiator, definitely. And because obviously we're going through a special situation with COVID-19, how do you think the situation has evolved? So we're already a little bit post-lockdown. And how do you think these changing or still affecting the way customer experience and customer support works?
Well, I hope this is a game changer for people. So I think it's naive to say that offline commerce will disappear, right? I want to go to a shop as well, so it's okay. But I think e-commerce is going to grow a lot more, and it's a true complement to an offline experience. And I think that with this COVID-19 pandemic thing, well, I believe people learned about the convenience of sitting in your laptop at the office or home, pressing a button, and something shows up at your doorstep. That's incredibly convenient, right? It would be silly to say that it's not an advantage for people. So we can tell that the order volume is in a different stage. So we're not at COVID-19 levels right now, but it's much higher than in March 2020. So those are all new customers that didn't know about Dott, or didn't know about e-commerce, and now they're e-commerce customers. And I think that's the big change that we'll have from a customer service point of view. We need to hire more people still, and increase our capacity. To give the service that we want to give to our customers. We'll continue to do this while automating at the same time, and finding ways to improve these processes. Because I also don't believe that just throwing people to a problem will solve it. Absolutely not. We continuously improve our processes and automate them to avoid having people doing repetitive tasks. That's something that we're incredibly against at Dott. We don't want people doing the same thing over and over again. If we find something like that, it's something that we want to automate, and Zendesk is very useful in that sense.
I appreciate that as well. Well, I think we talked a little bit about my next question, and I think is the last question before we're open to Q&A. But what are the next steps?
Yeah, so for us, so there's still a lot to do in our customer service specifically. But COVID-19 apart, we need to improve on our quality assurance function. I think that's. And there's a lot of great automation tools for that as well. It doesn't need to be managed it needs to be managed by someone, an individual, but this person can be supported with a lot of great tools in that sense. So that's, I also want, and I'm already doing a big effort in improving our capacity planning. So this order inflow just shows that any model that you have to plan how many people you need, it's just meaningless if the inputs are not good. So this is an exercise that I really want to increase its frequency. So work on capacity planning a lot more. Yeah. And I think it would be great to have some sort of Zendesk tool here, because the inputs are very standard. For some businesses, it's order volume. The more orders you do, the more contacts you will have. And these contact rates or intervals are pretty linear. So it would be great to have some sort of, just one thing, you put the number and it gives you how many people you need.
I'm sure it's out there. Maybe we don't know it yet, but I'm sure there will be something being created right now. Thank you very much, Paulo, for answering all these questions and for your input today. We're going to open now for Q&A, and I'm going to pass on to Mafalda so she can bring the questions on to us.
Sure. Thank you, John.
Yes. Thank you so much to both of you. Really interesting. And we have some interesting questions for you. So I'm going to start. Daniela Lovato says really interesting. She's complimenting your speeches. Ana Filipe Oliveira, she asks a question to Dott. How was the adherence to purchases in new categories?
Sure. Yeah. So we had a huge order inflow in these categories, such as grocery, beers, first necessity items. We did the food category is something that's still hasn't been cracked by anyone, right? In Portugal, Continent Online is the number one player, but still it's not 100% convenience, I would say. Also, Mercadão from Pingo Doce, they were, I would say, are number two, and but I think there's still a lot of localization to do in this market. Like the Instacart model, it's still not set up here in Portugal in that sense, right? There's so many local groceries having amazing produce that could be offered to you in such a convenient way, right? You don't need to go to the big shopping malls to get like excellent fresh vegetables, and that's all stuff that could be delivered to you and found through the online. So yeah, adherence to purchase was huge, but it has a lot of operational challenges. Right? transporting bottles of wine, bottles of beer, making it profitable for sellers to sell one bottle of I don't know, clothing detergent. They don't want to sell you that. They want to sell a full basket of stuff. So there's a lot of work to be done there.
Okay, thank you. Again to you, this one is really interesting question. What do you think about the era of marketplaces in e-commerce? All over Europe, there is a movement really important of big players that converts in markets, including uniting forces in Europe to create marketplace to compete again, AliExpress, Amazon. What do you think about it?
First of all, the new era of marketplaces. Yeah, there's marketplaces popping up everywhere because, well, it's very expensive to do retail. You have to buy all this stuff and having it in a warehouse and buying more stuff because someone bought it. You need a lot of working capital to pull off something like that. And at the same time, you have all these sellers that have this stock ready for you, and you can help them make money through a commission, much like Uber Eats or Glovo, right? So I think this is just going to keep happening because, well, there's all these sellers that are specialists in their categories, right? They know where to buy the best and the diapers with the best price and put it on your platform. So if you want to be an expert on all these categories, well, you're either Amazon or, well, it's very difficult to do that, right? So I think the marketplaces will continue to exist, and I think they will become more and more localized. So I don't know enough about this, if this would be good for Europe to join all these marketplaces. But what I see is Amazon is not number one in Europe in many countries. In the Netherlands, you have bol.com, and they offer a very localized experience, much like us, because they know better than Amazon of what the Dutch customer wants to buy and where are the best products. Look at us. We did a local cheese fair from called Feira do Queijo da Serra. Very typical Portuguese cheese that was not going to happen. The fair was not going to happen because everybody was on quarantine. So we decided to bring them online, and it was a big hit. So we got ready to transport this type of cheese, which is very soft. It's difficult to transport, and it's quite expensive. And imagine that you had the sellers that didn't want to come online because some of their competitors had sold so much that then if they sold with us, they wouldn't have enough for their regular customers. So I think there's still a lot to do to compete with Amazon. It's not just about having huge amounts of capital to deploy, but it's also about this local knowledge that you need to leverage to do a good business.
Yeah. Thank you. John, now it's for you. First of all, Savio, thanks for your offer that we already put both of them. Now it's the Dott one. And he asked you, is it possible to integrate with Shopify?
Yes, it is. So Zendesk, if you go online and look for Zendesk Marketplace, there is over 700 applications and integrations available for customers to plug in, and Shopify is definitely one of them.
Okay. Thank you. The other question from David, it's what's the most significant action that you have done to improve your customer experience?
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any silver bullet here. It's just, unfortunately, it's just a series of actions that you need to build on a regular basis to improve your customer experience. I wish there was some kind of silver bullet that, but I can list some of the actions that were helpful in improving our customer experience, which is, to be honest, it's nowhere near where we all want it to be. It's a Dott. We're continuously striving to make it better. Categorizing categorizing the types of problems when they're entering the platform. Well, this cleverly app approach was quite important because it enabled us to segment the problem or issue or question that the customer had and give it to the most appropriate agent. Okay. And also give it a different level of priority. If your item is damaged, that's bad. Like that, we want to fix that. I think making the CSAT scores a part of the agent's performance is also very important because it's like what gets measured improves. If you're measuring something, it starts improving. You're not doing anything, you're just measuring it, and it starts improving. So if people are looking, agents are looking at their customer satisfaction index, then they will be careful about it, and they will keep track of it, and just by making them aware of something they're being evaluated on, it will improve naturally, right? So those are two very important actions we took. I think a third one, it's having routines, feedback routines from customer support to the business. You can't let customer support just operate autonomously and then they it's a very operational function. So if they're given if they're given some sort of input, they will work that input in an efficient way. But many times you don't want that input to arrive there. So you need to get feedback from the team back into the business and improve it. So having those management routines, like a weekly meeting between customer support and your sales function, your operational function, your marketing function, it will tell you, look, customers, they don't understand about that the voucher can only be used after you make a purchase. So your copy is wrong. Like you need to do a more specific copy in your marketing pieces, or I don't know. Our sellers, they're having trouble with order management. So your product team needs to improve the software.
Yeah. Thank you. Also, David asks you, do you think Portuguese customers are now more ready to buy online, and how do you see it evolving? You already answered a little bit to this one, but if you want to say something, you or John, both.
No, I think Paul is better experienced here.
I was going to pass this ball, but yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely. I think they're more ready to buy online. My experience is that Portugal adapts to new technologies very, very quickly. We're a bit of a laggard, so we're not, when things show up, we won't be the first to do something.
Exactly.
Everybody piles onto it. We need to have some social. I feel like we need to have some social proof to adopt some sort of new technology. But when we do, it's done. Everybody does it. So I think customers are now more ready to buy online. So they're more aware of this option. It's not a niche, right? If you look at 2018, I think the number was 30% of Portuguese had bought online. Okay, and this included from outside of Portugal, where most of these 30% bought. Okay. Now, last year, I think the number was already up to 50-something%. I might be saying that I'm pretty sure about the 30%. The 50%, I'm not 100% sure, but it's something in that dimension. It grew from 30 to 50. The thing is, it's when you compare it to countries like Spain, France, United Kingdom, Germany. These are countries with 70% rates, right? Also because they have Amazon, which is such a big enabler of e-commerce, right? And they're very helpful in pushing through e-commerce, right?
Yeah, and we have another factor here. I was reading a study that says Portuguese are afraid. So people are buying at home because they are still afraid of this situation with COVID-19. So they are getting used to buying from their home, their computers. They are at bed at their phones and they just buy it. It's easy and it's quite, you were saying, it's quite amazing. You buy it online and it will be appearing at your elevator right now, not at your door, because they leave you at the thing at the elevator.
But I think it did push a little bit, force people a little bit going more online. Now the question is, after this, is going this to stick and get people getting used to it? Because I think all it needs is the first experience, and then you try it, you know it's safe, you know it comes to you in good condition. Why not keep going?
Yeah, and it's easy at the end of the day. I think for the customer, it's really easy. So Ana Filipe Oliveira, she asks, from your experience, do you have any advice on how to implement channels?
Yeah, absolutely. So advice on how to implement channels. So we did it in a very iterative way. This is the startup way to say we just did it, right? We just integrated an email. We chose the name support@dott.pt, and we put that email in our contacts page on the website, and we tested out. We sent some emails. Everything was okay. So that's pretty much how we implemented email. So what are my concerns here? The more places you put an email or a contact, more contacts. This will generate contacts naturally. This is basically the way that it works. So you need to be mindful of this when directing customers to contact you. So I'm not saying that I want customers to contact Dott. Right? I want them to contact us, but for the right reasons. Right? The ones that a damaged order or problem with us, I don't want them to. I don't want them to experience that, and I want to prevent that contact in that way. Then I think the toughest one to implement would be the talk channel, because I think it's the most professional sort of channel that you have. There's a lot of development in that one, not from a technological standpoint, but from a people standpoint. There's a lot of process. There's the right voice to give you the starting message. Are you giving options to people and having them listen to 1,000 options and then pressing buttons? How long will you keep them waiting? How long? These are all. It's the most difficult channel to implement. So who's going to be on the other side? Do they have a script? How are they answering the phone? It's the toughest one to implement. And then chat and Facebook and WhatsApp. Well, we feel that's our belief here at Dott, that it can be very informal.
Okay. Irina Brito, she asks, I have a little store. How can I sell my product in Dott?
Sure. You can contact us at sales@dott.pt, and someone from the sales team will help you. But we can also go to the website dott.pt, and when you scroll down to the bottom in contacts, you'll have a page there with our contacts and a specific one to get someone to have you onboarded.
Well, thank you so much. We don't have more questions for now. Do you want to say some final words? So in conclusion, before I finish, John, do you?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you both, and thank you, Paulo, for joining me today and answer all these questions. Thank you, everyone that came and watched us today, and you can still send some questions if you need through us, and we'll be very happy to be in touch with you, and have a good day.
Paulo, any last words? Just
No,
to
just
finish?
to thank you guys for this initiative. I think it's great to talk about customer experience, talk about e-commerce. So two topics I'm very passionate about, and so thank you for having me. And well, I think we'll talk soon. Either way.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for both of you. I have to say, we do from Zendesk, we have a white paper that you can download on our page. It's really easy. Just go to downloads. It's really interesting. We also have some articles on our page from Zendesk. It can be really helpful. It's amazing. Actually, I'm a fan. Paulo, also we have soon to come an interview with Gaspar. We have been talking to him. So thank you so much. We have really close relation with both Zendesk and Dott, and it's amazing to have you here. I appreciate it so much. We are receiving a lot of thank yous, wonderful, interesting webinar. So right now on the chat, I don't know if you can see, but people apparently like it. So thank you so much to all of you, to both of you, and to all of you that are listening to us and that came here today. And I hope you enjoyed it. You can still send questions on our social media. Anything you need to get in contact with both John and Paulo, I'm free and available to put you in contact with them. So thank you so much. I appreciate it, and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.